and then I'm gonna get back to bed. But I want to do this on fear. And one of the things that I've noticed with pain is as pain comes on, you fall into fear because you know what's coming, you know how bad it's going to get. As your symptoms flare up, you start getting fear of if they're going to get worse, how long they're going to last. But most importantly, you fear because you know how it's about to feel. And faith cannot exist in the absence of fear. So when you're in pain and you're giving into the fear of that pain, you're replacing your faith. And you really have to learn how to just keep your mind focused past the pain, like a Jedi mind trick. You just focus beyond the pain. You let that fade into the background like a Charlie Brown muffled talk, and you keep in faith. Because once you get into that fear, it's going to release those chemicals and it's going to make everything worse, and it's going to take you out of faith. And you're supposed to live your life bold and fearless, that you could face any Goliath and you don't even see it like a Goliath. You could take on the whole world. You could take on corporations. You could take on your biggest bully. There should be no one, no thing, no anything. You know what I mean? If the most powerful person in the world was after you, you should be fearless. If the president himself, had a vendetta for you, you should be fearless. Because you can't have faith and fear. And that's why our storms are such a blessing, because the strength they build in us, and just losing all that fear from anything, any trial, any person, any situation, anything, and just giving it to God and being like, I don't have to be afraid, and I don't feel like, well, I know there's not a Goliath in this world I couldn't face fearless. The only thing that scares me now is the dark, and that might be forever, but God might heal that, who knows, but it's not a fear that destroys my life. So today is July 31st. I'm just flip into my page. This is the book I read from every day. It's been through a lot. The cat diarrhea all over my purse on it. Then I had to wash it in the lake because I didn't find out till I got to the lake to do my reading. And then it's still such a good book that I'm not going to stop reading from it just because of a little bit of destruction. I'm trying to have a hard time just finding the order of the months. July, August, September. Okay, give me 1 second. July. I'm almost there. Okay, July 31st. Sorry, this page is actually just stuck together. Okay. So here is July 31st, and I never look at the title or look at the book before. Sometimes if I have to rip out a page because it's falling out, I'll just take that page. I'll see the title because it's in bold, but you still don't ever know what it's about exactly. So this is called The Blessing of a Hope-Filled Future. Bear with me. I've been throwing up all morning because my ribs are literally killing me. It sucks getting old. You tend to lose track of your blessings. I know it's easier to see what you're lacking rather than what you have, but focusing on all the ways in which you've been blessed can provide hope when all hope seems gone. Hopelessness can lock you into a prison of your past. Your doubt and despair keep you from moving into the future with faith, and you could easily begin to live a life of discouragement. My word will set your thoughts straight, transforming your mind and enabling you to see a hope-filled future. You need to let go of your past, focus upon the ways you've been blessed, and move into the future I have for you. I'm going to go back to that part later if I remember. Don't allow discouragement and despair to keep you from my very best in your life. I have blessed you in the past, but I have so much more I want to do in and through you in the future. Even if you're faced with what seems like hopeless situations, rely on my promises to give you new insight into your circumstances. I want you to always wait for me hopefully and expectantly, depending fully upon me, assured that I have plans for you to give you a future and a hope. The Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, to the one who seeks him. That's Lamentations 3:25. So part of that in the scripture that they were quoting was the Jeremiah. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. So you want to focus on literally being without fear at any cost. That's like, that's the devil's biggest tool against us is our fear. And if you're someone that's ever watched horror movies, then you'll understand that even in the horror movies, they'll be like try to undercover the person's biggest fear, or they get in their head and figure out their fear, and that's what they pry on. So if like your fear is pain, the devil's just gonna keep letting that pain distract you, and that's what you're gonna focus on, because you really are what you focus on. And it's a reading from a book called, oh, there's no cover anymore. Crap. Okay. Here's the, it's a teal book when it has a cover. It's called He Whispers Your Name by Sherry Hill. And you get it on Amazon. But it has like a pretty teal peacock blue, like leather looking cover. It's a daily devotional. I read one every day. And every day it just coincides with everything. So I'm an evangelist, but I also have a chronic illness. So 90% of every day for about a year now I'm in bed, and I'll still be in bed probably about another year the majority of the time as I recover from bed rest and stuff. But so, okay, I did my first live video ever on YouTube, because what I was doing was all my lives on Facebook, which anyone can find me on Facebook. If you type Ashley Brooks, Geneva, New York, I'll come up. But I was doing them live on there and then just uploading them to YouTube. So yesterday, yeah, better every day. So yesterday I watched the first live video, and it turns out when people write comments when I do my videos, then you can't see them when I do my videos. So sometimes it looks like I'm just out of left field, or like talking to myself, or just responding to something no one has anything to do with. So I was laughing because I was like, I just like fast forward the video. I didn't watch it just to see if the comments came up, because I was curious if they do. So I wonder how many of my videos is just gonna seem like I'm bouncing all over the place, because then people can't see the comments and they're like, why is she talking about turkeys right now? And it could have been literally someone just asked me a question about turkeys. This is my kitty. Her name is Eve. My boyfriend's name is Adam, so I named her Eve. And she's really naughty. And Adam was like, I'm the best animal trainer in the world. And this is the naughtiest cat I've met in my life. And we're gonna get a dog eventually. So there's times that I would be able to leave the house without my walker, but because at any time I could get symptoms and I already know I was flaring up that day a lot, I have to bring it. But if I have a big dog, then I could just kind of lean against him. And like by leaning against him, I could just get home, and then I won't have to take the walker out as much. But my videos on detox are almost done. There's a bunch. I have 97 videos uploaded from the past. But I've been going through a series of detox because I started out on 20 pills every day. And now I'm down to 6 pills a day. I've just been detoxing myself. I failed a bunch of times. I put myself into shock multiple times, into hallucinations and hearing voices and vomiting, and literally in shock, and kept dropping down too hard, too fast. But I finally, fifth time is the charm, got a hold on it this time. So this round of detox, I was at 12 pills 3 weeks ago, and now I'm down to 6. You're supposed to go down half a pill a week. I keep not listening, which is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. But I like to just dive right in. So every time I try to detox again, I just boop and I go over the top, and then I end up having to go back on the meds because I can't get out of a state of seizure. But this time, I'm down to 6, and my body is actually handling it, even though I'm doing it a lot faster than I should. It adds a ton more pain, a lot more time of not leaving bed, but you get them out of your system faster. And the Lord didn't make you on pills. He doesn't need the help of doctors to heal you. This stream's literally about everything. I cover literally everything. You would just have to skim through some earlier videos. I don't know how to tag to like have direction of what people know what the hell I'm talking about, because literally every video cover you a converted atheist. Yeah, actually, I was an atheist for a long time. I didn't actually get saved until July 2024. And then August 20th, I had my first symptom. And by September 19th, I'm permanently out of work. And went into the hospital and was paralyzed from the neck down November 1st. I went in a couple days before that, just went paralyzed, and they didn't know what was wrong with me, so we thought it was either stage 4 or something and I was dying, or that was cerebral palsy. And a couple days later, we just found out it's a neurological condition that's a chronic illness you have your whole life. It's called FND. I'm already in process of making a worldwide website for FND. And I'm going to be on a TV station for FND with a bunch of other people. And I have on my Facebook a ton of FND followers. And just a lot of people with all different chronic illnesses. And it's just going through recovery. But I went into remission May 18th of this year, however long ago May was. But because I've been so heavily medicated the whole time and now detoxing, I have to get everything out of my system, and then my body has to regain control of it and then build up all the bed rest stuff. But every day you're in bed, it takes 2.5 days to recover, and I'm still in bed a ton, so I'm still deteriorating all the time. So that's why when I fall, I get super injured. So I fell on my ribs. No, nobody sounds ignorant when I tell you no doctor has ever heard of this. Literally, I've tried seeing multiple doctors, and they say, I've never heard of this, and they'll throw pills at you. And you can even see an actual neurologist, even though it's a neurology thing. There's only specialized FND doctors for it. They are so few, so far between. Most people have to travel a lot. And the waiting list is 2 years to even see them. So FND is called functional neurological disorder. So right now, the only thing I'm left on is baclofen and clozapam. I got everything out of my system, but the reason detox becomes so hard with neurological conditions is because paralysis, they were stopping a lot of stuff. But you know, God's my doctor, and I don't need meds and I don't need doctors to heal, because healing is a promise from God. It's just whether or not you believe it. Because if you're just praying and praying and praying, but you don't believe it, you're not trusting God. And that's not surrender, and that's not trust, you know what I mean? So, yeah, benzos, yep. I was getting tens of thousands of seizures, and I was getting them every 15 minutes, and they'd last for 3 weeks, and then they'd stop for a couple days. But the majority of 7 months was just nonstop seizures. But Now I don't get them from F&D, but just the detox of the pills. So now I'll get muscle spasms, but literally all the side effects of the pills are also symptoms of all these diseases we have. So detox is really hard, but you don't need to be on pills. Pharmaceuticals are from the devil, and unless you have something degenerative, you don't need pills. And you want to take stuff if you have something degenerative while you're working with God, just to not like fall apart. I don't know. But neurological conditions, degenerative, they're super painful. It's the symptoms of 16 diseases in one, but I have lots of videos on that. But well, there's no such thing as a horrible person. And I tell people monsters aren't born, they're created. So anyone that feels horrible, it's just the experiences that they've gone through life. It's just the projection of others. Most people have been bullied throughout their life. There's very few people that haven't been bullied. And even the bullies were bullied, but a lot of them started getting bullied in youth. Or a lot of people's first bullies are their parents, older siblings, things like that. So we get all these ideas of who we are because we let the world define us and say who we are. We care what people think. We let people tear down our character or integrity or lie or judge. But the truth is, it doesn't matter if every person in the entire world hates you. It still doesn't mean that you're not the best person ever created. A lot of people with darkness hate the light, and when they see the light in you, they're gonna hate you. So being hated by a lot of people is actually a sign that you're on the right track. And yeah, so I get the non-epileptic seizures. They resemble the same ones, but yeah, everything. And in the animal kingdom, people leave the wounded in animals. And, you know, back in the day, the misfits in the outskirts, anyone with disease, sickness, they were shunned and not even allowed in town. And that was even if they did morally things wrong, like the woman at the well, she was shunned. So anyone that wasn't living up to code, which today our code is like the American dream, right? The corporate America and the picket fence and the blah, blah, blah. So everyone is judged by someone. Most of judgment comes out of jealousy. Most of judgment comes out of insecure people have to put down other people to feel better about themselves. And there's a lot of people in the world. I was horribly, horribly bullied by my old manager because the guy she liked me and made that very clear in front of her. And she bullied me and tortured me and lied about me to the point, like, we sat down at a meeting and my step-grandma literally was in hospice, about to die. I left work an hour early the day before, and I was at work the next day. And she sat down right at the meeting and goes, "So, your grandma." And when I went to say goodbye to my stepdad, who was having horrible health issues, and it was the last time I was going to see him, she made a fake report when I was gone against me, completely lies. I've been working with HR for a while and trying to get into different yeah, no, I get that. So churches have a religious spirit. I do a lot of videos on churches with religious spirits, and how a lot of people turn from God because of that. I have videos. I was in Bible school for 2.5 years. I did a video on that. Watch some of my videos because I had a horrible, horrible, horrible experience there with that religious community. I've had horrible experiences with churches. When I left Bible school, I fell away from God for 10 years because of the way the religious community treated me and my 2 kids as a single mom living on campus for 2.5 years. So many people that turned away from God, they turned away from people that represented God. And what you have to remember is that just like there were Pharisees then, there's Pharisees now, and there always will be. There's always going to be a religious spirit, and with a religious spirit comes judgment. Like, they would judge everything Jesus did. They would try to control everything Jesus did. These were the holiest of holy, And they were, telling the Messiah what he can and can't do, and judging him and hating him and belittling him, and thought very little of him. So anyone in the world with light is gonna encounter a religious spirit and get really turned off by religion because of religious people. But your relationship with God has nothing to do with people. And what happens is, when you enter a Christian community, you have the expectation that people that are in church, loving God, living their lives holy, that they're going to have a heart like Jesus, but they don't. There's the religious community, and then there's the people with the hearts of Jesus. And the people with the hearts of Jesus are the ones that go after the misfits and go out after the people on the outskirts. And I found my first church family in my entire life this summer, this August actually. So I've been there, I don't know if it, or I found it in July. Yes, I found it in July. So this July was 1 year. And they take me to events, they drive me. I have seizures at church. I lose complete ability to, my legs just stop working, like a sack of potatoes, I'll fall, I get Tourette's, I get everything. But when you find an actual church that your pastor has a heart of Jesus, and the church family are followers of Jesus, it's a completely different experience. And I love every single person in my church. I haven't been judged by a single person. I haven't ever been mistreated. Everyone's helpful. They don't shun me. I'm going to the church camp, and you have to drive there and back, and they've all been in cars with me. It's not pleasant. At any moment, I could throw up, I could piss myself, shit myself, go into a seizure, and it's from second to second. I could be fine, and then in 1 second, I'm not, because it's just a neurological transmitter. So it's just your peripheral nervous system firing at will. So in 1 second, I could be in Tourette's and not speak the whole day. So they take a huge risk every time they bring me places, but that's what they do. And I keep encouraging everyone to find the right church family, because religion isn't Jesus. Jesus didn't even like religion. He didn't like the Pharisees. He wasn't hanging out with them and eating with them and all that. They were his least favorite people in the world. So we were already shown that example. So don't let religious people keep you from a relationship with God. Just find the right church. I had a dream about my church before I ever found it. I ended up renting a house that was 4 doors away from it before I even knew the location of it. And then I ended up not being able to walk or drive or anything, but I was able to go because I could get 4 doors down with a walker. And then someone referred this church. Like, you'll know. And if you just keep like praying to God and surrendering and asking him to lead you, he will. But it's just like everything in life, if you don't feel like this is where I belong, you don't settle, and you'll know. I knew the very first time I stepped foot in there, this is where I belong, because you'll feel it. It's just like, when you meet a friend and you just feel that connection, you'll feel that. And you could go to 100 churches and meet 100 religious pastors without the heart of Jesus, and 100 congregations of leadership that are more corrupt than people that don't believe in Jesus. There's so much evil in the religious community. There has been from the beginning of time. People use it for money. People are wolves in sheep clothing. There's tons of evil attached to religion. But that has nothing to do with your relationship with God. And when you truly surrender your life, you start seeing signs, miracles, and wonders in every day of your life. You start living your life with divine connection. You start getting healing and peace. You start seeing your storms completely different. I was making a ton of money in corporate America, and I was about to make a ton more with the certification I was just finishing up. And then I was removed from work permanently. And when disability kicks in, it wouldn't be enough to even live poor, right? Or live or eat and have housing, right? And I have a son and a daughter, but my daughter's older, so she doesn't live with me. But in the natural, you would be like, God, this isn't fair. I'm at the height of my career. I worked so hard to get there as a single mom. I worked 6, 7 days a week, 2 jobs at most times, since I was 19, because I never had child support, and supporting 3 people with no college degree, you work a lot, right? But what happens is God is going to bless me 10 times more than any amount of money I could have ever made in corporate America. But He's also going to do it with me loving my boss, me loving how I spend my time, my schedule, working with my health, with my life. And I'm my own boss. So I do love my boss. And now I just get to be an entrepreneur. And I've always had entrepreneurial spirit. And God gives everyone their dream life as they surrender. So any area of your life that isn't good, it's because you haven't surrendered it. But as you surrender it, God starts moving mountains at God's speed. Everyone in the world could have financial wealth. Everyone in the world could have friends, could have peace, could have joy, could have happiness. Anyone in the world, yeah. So He put me into remission. Every single day since November 11th, I've been able to walk, and a lot of people with this disease spend many, many, many years in wheelchairs, many years. There's actually only a 20% success rate over the course of 7 years for any improvement. He blessed me when I got evicted from my home that I couldn't afford anymore. He blessed me with a 1-floor apartment with a walk-in shower. I was barely able to take showers because I couldn't get in and out of the tub, and I couldn't shower without help. Now I have a walk-in shower. And my it's all 1 floor. If I had a 2-floor home, I wouldn't be able to get to the kitchen or upstairs. I live up 20 stairs, and those are really, really hard. So I just leave the house once a day to do my walk, and then the only place in public I go is church. But that's just because the muscle lack, But is God gonna bless me financially in an absurd, amazing way? Hell yeah. As of today, I don't have 1 penny to my name. My account's in the negatives. We've been malnutrition for a year. My son is 13 and growing, so I barely eat just to make sure he gets, a lot of, all the food. And we're the poorest we've been since the day I was born. And do I know with 100% certainty that's God's prosper me? Hell yeah. But I know He's gonna knock my socks off. So whatever corporate America was, that's like a joke in comparison to what my earnings will be. And that's not cocky. That's God's promise, and it's not His promise to me. It's His promise to all His sons and daughters if you've surrendered. So you gotta surrender your finances. If you don't like your job, you surrender that, and He'll put you in the right job. But you're not meant to be unhappy. Any area of your life, whether it's your relationship, your work, your time schedule, if there's a spot you're unhappy, then you need to surrender that to God so He could move you out of that spot. And even through all the detox, all the sickness, all the poverty, losing everything, spending a lot of time just only eating ramen, which I literally hate. I have felt God every single moment. I have felt peace. He gives you gifts and surprises that you couldn't even imagine. And there's times, you'll be walking and you'll just see a sign on someone's shirt that said something you were just thinking about or needed to hear, or just something crazy. You'll know, but God will start showing up in a way that you can't even be like, this is a coincidence. It will be so God yesterday. Yeah, it did. But if you want to find me on Facebook too, you just type in Ashley Brooks, Geneva, New York. I have some videos on there, and I post on Facebook every day, but skim through some of the videos too. But yeah, I 100% wanted nothing to do with God for most of my life. And I didn't actually get saved for the first time in my life till this July. And I went to Bible school 2.5 years. That's a whole nother story, but not because I was saved. that's just a whole big story. I'll get into another time. But through that, I left so angry at God, not knowing why I ever went. So, like, what was that? And yeah, I did leave probably an atheist. But yeah, I've definitely gone back and forth. But this time it's different because those times I believed in God. I knew he was real, but I didn't know he could be so hands-on and fix the things he could fix. And the miracles I've seen him perform since I got saved in my life and other people's lives, the testimonies I've heard from around the world since I started doing my videos, it becomes so evident that God is so right here that it's just every second of every day, you're just like, all right, you got this. And I have a ton of peace. You know, there's a lot of times that I'm in a ton of pain, so you can't tell, and withdrawal will have you all like boop boop, but my soul's at peace. And I know my destiny is beautiful. You guys are gonna see it. It's really, really beautiful. And I know I get my dream life, and marry my dream man, and I get my dream lifestyle and everything. And I know I'll be able to still travel in the future, and it's really beautiful. But that just comes from the promise of God. But you have to believe it. Because if you don't believe something, you don't trust someone. You know what I mean? If your partner told you something and you didn't believe them, it meant you didn't trust them. And all God is looking for is 100% for us to trust him. So I'm starting this series tomorrow. It's a 30-day series. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something that some people at my church are doing. It's all online and stuff. As I get links, and I'll talk to the pastor about, I don't know what's like closed groups or what things are for the church or what things are open to everyone. So even after I do this course, I'll do a whole review on it. And if it's something open to the public or something they're doing again, I'll post the information so more people could do that. But you just want to stop letting people keep you from God. It's a two-way street. It's just you and Jesus. It's not, you know what I mean? If your pastor turns out to, you know, be a murderer or a pedophile, you don't say, oh, I don't believe in God anymore. No, it was just a wolf in sheep's clothing. There's a lot of money to be made in religion, and there are people that don't believe in God that get into it for the money, like everything else in the world. You know what I mean? There's narcissists and sociopaths, and religion's always been a way to make money. In the wrong hands, they could make a lot of money for evil. And there's always corruption in the religious world, but it's not about people. It's not about what anyone thinks about you. And I know it's easier said than done. I lost my mind before I was 100% free. But now, you know, it's awesome. It's awesome to have no fear. It's awesome to have just your life surrendered to God. And check out some of my other videos, and also subscribe, because once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I start earning. So my career is going to be that I'm going to be a paid motivational speaker. So my first goal is 50 subscribers to go live. I did that. Now I need 1,000 subscribers to unlock everything fully. Then my so I forget, like in corporate America, there's like an achievable goal, a reach goal, and like a high goal. So my achievable goal is 11 million subscribers. My reach goal is 100 million, and my like up top high goal is saying yes to any single place God puts me, to do whatever it is he says. So whatever that is that. So I also want to lead people through just anyone going through storms and stuff. Anyone could create a YouTube channel. Anyone could start getting paid to be on YouTube. There's people getting paid to like eat food and people watch them, or like pop pimples and people watch them. People are literally getting rich from doing nothing. There's a new trend because I'm down with like all the kiddos, because I have tons and tons of 13-year-olds and 14 and 15-year-olds and all the teenage year kids over every day of my life. So they like tell me what's cool and stuff. And apparently what's getting the most views in the whole world right now is people with Tourette's just filming themselves with Tourette's, and like the whole world is watching and they're getting millions of subscribers. So my advice is just find what your passion is and then just start making videos and then start getting paid for it. Because that's a great way, anyone with chronic illness, anyone on disability that can't work or isn't ever going to be working again, it's a great way to make money from bed, you know. I'm in bed 90% of the time, but you know what? I could become a millionaire laying in bed. And you just partner with God, and he'll open every door that needs to be open. He'll close every door that needs to be closed. And I get bullied and sexually harassed, and I go through all sorts of crap being on the internet. People, you're crazy, or this or that. Yeah, I'm crazy. Technically, yeah, I'm crazy. And people can make fun of you, this and that, but do you really care about a person making that they're gonna be like, ha ha, you're having a seizure? What? That's a person I wouldn't give a shit if they were making fun of me, because they hate themselves. You cannot possibly love yourself and be mean to anybody, well, anyone. You can't really be mean to people if you love yourself. It's just the people that are insecure and hate themselves, and they feel like they don't have anything to offer because they're evil spirited. They know anyone they get close to will eventually see their true colors and leave. They know any relationship they have, the person's eventually going to dump them, and they're living in misery, and they say misery loves company, and hurt people. So you can't really give a damn what anyone says or thinks, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? It literally, the only thing it could do is hurt your feelings, piss you off. You know what I mean? And then you have to forgive them. That's the annoying part. But forgiveness is for you, not for them. Forgiveness is hard. I always struggled with that. So I start my prayers with, God, help me want to forgive this person. And I still feel a lot of pain that this woman, just because a man I didn't even liked me, and she's my manager, literally bullied me, tried having me fired. HR, and I had been there for years. Even her bosses were like, we know there's not a problem with you. And I was telling them, like, I just need to get away from her. She's abusing me. She's mistreating me. Like, you have no idea what this woman's doing. And I've never had a problem with anyone ever. I was, you know, with the same company 2.5 years, which I am going to do a review on them. I have tons and tons and tons of people from my old company. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you told me. My reception is really bad because it's pouring rain here. But I'm gonna get off. But look me up on Facebook, Ashley Brooks, and then type Geneva, New York, because if you don't, there's a million of us. And my profile picture is me. I have sunglasses on. And also you could check out some of my older videos just to kind of get an idea. I don't just talk about chronic illness. I talk about all sorts of things, and every video covers just all sorts of things. That's why I don't label them, because if I had to label them with the 25 topics I cover in every video, people are gonna be like, what the hell? But once they watch one video, they're like, all right, she talks about everything in every video, just blah, 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 so it makes sense nothing's labeled. And God will open the doors that, even though I don't know how to, like, put in the algorithm, have people find my videos, none of that. I just surrender that to God. God's my tech man. I don't have the mental capacity or the desire, and frankly, I don't want the responsibility at all. I just want to do what feels fun and enjoyable. my whole life, 19 years a single mom, busting my ass, and I just want to have fun, and I don't want the responsibility of anything responsible anymore. I just want to live in the moment, get through my healing, talk to the world about Jesus, make a ton of money as an entrepreneur, and then eat seafood every day and produce. And then my videos are going to go on forever because in 5 years we're going to go do a homestead and all that. So we're building all that from scratch and only hunting and growing everything we eat. So that, again, like my video is going to change down the line. But during those videos, I'll still be talking about Jesus every day because it's Jesus that's blessing me with everything, right? So I hope you guys have a good day, and I will be on every single day.